The regional season has passed, and with that, much of the Star Wars Destiny community has started focusing on worlds.
We sit down with Joe from the Hyperloop to discuss planning for worlds, how to evaluate what we should play in such a diverse meta, and much, much more.
We also take a look at the upgrade Resilient and why you may consider it in more decks.
This is episode 82, Looking Towards Worlds with Honestly Sarcastic.
You have been well trained.
No. You don't have to carry a sword to be powerful.
I won't fail you.
Oh, do not.
I'm not afraid.
Please don't try.
Welcome, Destiny fans, to another episode of Chance Cube Live. Here we are, getting ready to talk about some Destiny, because that's what we do here. We talk about Star Wars Destiny.
We do. And sometimes
That's
Mike
what
and I
we do.
harass you and make your vein pop out of your forehead.
Sometimes. Yes. But we like your new digs, though, Mike Hill.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's coming along. I got my desk, and like everything that you guys don't see is set up and looks beautiful. What you do see is like all the furniture's on its way. We already ordered it. I'm waiting to put my art up till we get the furniture. And
Fair enough.
yeah, over in this corner we have my shelf that you can't see yet, my green screen and all that action. But this side, what you guys don't see, looks awesome.
Nice.
That's all that really matters, right?
Right? It looks good to me.
There you go. I'm glad the move went seemingly well. At least it sounds like it.
It was okay. We had a few issues with the internet last week. Obviously, that's why I was not here.
We yelled at the internet company on your behalf.
Yeah, we did.
It was so bad, but we got it all figured out. Internet is good now. It seems pretty seamless. We are streaming very, very quickly, and yeah, everything's good.
Nice.
The house is coming along well, and
Cool.
soon you'll see some sweet art back here.
Very cool. Looking forward to the new background as we get closer. And Kim, I hear
Yes?
there are things happening over there in the Ohios.
Well, in our neck of the woods, I rushed home from work today to save my Destiny collection from going to Oz. So I thought, that's a lot of money going over the rainbow, man. Come back. So
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we actually had a tornado touchdown about a mile outside of town. So it's been an adventurous kind of day. So
Wow.
not as much Destiny fun has been had. Well, I mean, the rest of the week was kind of busy, so I didn't have much time to prepare like I normally do.
That's all good.
So
Yeah, everybody was busy, and I actually got a chance to play a little bit this week. So
cool.
not much, but enough.
Yeah, what'd you
to-
play?
Oh, I talked about it a little bit last week, but I'm playing around with that new variation on the Palpatine deck.
I like how you're all
Ooh.
pshaw about it.
Pshaw.
Like, oh, I didn't play anything too serious. I like that. That was kind of funny.
I mean, is it too serious? How well are you doing over here?
I mean, I'm not really yet. I haven't taken it to anything official, but been trying to play it online for a little bit. And there's some interesting things out there. Like I played several games on TTS the other night, and there's quite a few General Huxes showing up, which I thought was very interesting. That
Is
he's
interesting.
Kind of making there's some interesting things, I guess, with his special, and you can use. Remember that event, and the name's escaping me right now, and someone in the chat's going to let us know about it. But the event that you pay 3 resources to get 4.
Oh, yes.
Mobilize, I think, is the name of it. And then but with General Hux's special, lets you reduce the cost of an event by the number of characters you have on the table. So you're doing a 3-wide with Hux. You resolve that special, you get 4 resources for free. So it's a moneymaker for the villains, which is interesting. There's some different variations out there, I guess. I don't know if it's just someone said something somewhere and everybody's now like, ooh, Hux, let's play around with him. Or there's just people want to mess around because we're, new stuff.
Yeah. Nice. You should run it against my cheap deck that I built for last week's episode.
That you
I
did-
know.
We talked about your cheap deck.
Yeah? Oh.
so
Aw.
Cheap as in it was inexpensive, not cheap as in
Inexpensive.
Yeah, inexpensive to build. I think you could build it for
not
like
cheap, like I want to beat you because
No.
this deck's got so many cheap tricks in it.
no, because it doesn't have that. It doesn't. But it does good. It actually does good. For Mother Tals and Callus, it actually does some pretty good work. I was impressed.
Nice.
I built that deck, I think, for less than $20.
That's
Excellent.
nice.
So, good entry deck.
I almost picked up a second Mother this week so I could try that deck out.
It's fun. Check it out.
Like
There's
we
a
were
lot
at the FLGS, and because I need one more. I almost picked it up.
Kim, there's a lot of questions I could ask you about that statement, but it's a family show. Anyway, so
you count on me to have those slips and not even realize that I've done it until later.
You're welcome. So thanks to everyone who's jumped in the chat. Apparently, there's some substitutes for our regular heckler.
And apparently, me and Joe are going to have a love triangle with a porg. That's
Joe the heckler. We have to determine the difference between Joe the heckler versus Joe, our very special guest today.
I don't know. They didn't specify. So.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, let's see how quickly we can get to the actual discussion of the show and jump into our news for the week.
Woo, woo.
Let me take that back, huh? You'll find what you need.
All right.
Yeah, this is going to be a dangerous show. I can feel it already. The regionals we talked about last week. The regionals are over, and
I know it's weird and quiet.
It's weird. It's quiet, so there's not a lot of news. There's not a lot of. I guess there's some more attention on the Galactic Qualifiers that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not 4 or 5 or 8 different regional level events going on in the weekend. So we've got this 4-week lull till we get to Worlds, which could be interesting to see if the meta shifts from where we saw it at the end of the regional season.
We'll see. I can't stop. I can't stop reading the chat. To be perfectly honest, I'm not listening to you right now, Jason. It's going down.
Great new names.
It's going down
Poor
in the chat.
Joe's got to get a new name before he leaves.
Well,
though, I wonder, with this, it feels like a lull, but I think these 4 weeks are going to go by awfully quick.
And TTS isn't slowing down. There's plenty of people on there playing. You can find every day. There's more and more games to find. I remember playing 6 months ago. It was kind of tough to find a game in the middle of the day. Now, at any time of day, you can find a game very easily. So, I think that's a pretty good barometer for the game.
Yeah, I think there's those who are on the competitive end. This is the big ramp up to Worlds, which is what we're going to talk about later today. For those who aren't on the competitive end, and some of those major events have slowed down, and Legion just came out, so there are some folks who have diverted their attention to FFG's new miniatures game. I know Kim, your husband just bought a copy of it.
I said it wasn't making it here, and it's here.
Yeah, there's already a copy in my house too.
Wow.
Whoops.
But a lot of us are looking towards Worlds, which is a little less than about 4 weeks from today, or at least 1 month from today. We have our first round of Swiss for the World Championship, which is going to be awesome. Of course, there is a wrench. There's always a wrench.
Always.
Yesterday, there was a little tweet that took the world by storm. Little
tweet. I can't pull it up. Little tweet. Basically, FFG announced that they'll be having a Star Wars Destiny holocron coming soon. So keep your eyes open. And they showed the picture straight up of the holocron update. We'll see, and if it's going to affect Worlds.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's been a lot of random rumors and this is going to happen. And it's everybody has to remember that the holocron contains erratas, legal sets, and power of the Force. It doesn't contain changes to the basic rules of the game, or any of that stuff for that matter. So the idea of the special chaining is going to go away. We're not going to see that in the holocron. We see that in a rules update, unless they drop a rules update and don't tell us, which is possible. I wouldn't put it past them. But can you imagine if a character like Seventh Sister or Sabine gets some sort of adjustment? Or we have an errata to cards like running interference would be nasty.
Part of me thinks it's going to be anticlimactic. I don't know.
I'm sure we'll see something with running interference. I think that'll probably be the big one. Everybody's been talking about it, and I think it's been in the works. People are looking for it, and people are playing around it already. They're trying to run that card less because they know something's coming, which is kind of weird to me.
And then, yeah, that's true. When we've talked about that on the show before, I think that's the card that Sabine's powerful as it is. By no means, like, am I saying that she's less of what she is, but running interference is the one that is that card is makes the game. It takes away from the game, I guess.
Right.
Like the hyper space jump did and things like that.
Right. So we'll see. Hopefully it's going to be sooner than later. They said end of the month, and then they're like, just kidding. We know Worlds is coming.
Wasn't that... That cracked me up. Like, it's going to be by the end of the month or soon. Like,
or soon.
Like, who made the typo at FFG that got that out there to start with?
Right. Well, we're not here to talk about their press policy.
It made me chuckle. I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah, we definitely don't want to talk about press policies. we won't go there.
But yeah, that made me chuckle.
Anyways,
got everybody a buzz.
But as we look towards Worlds, I just want to remind everyone, we do have a Kickstarter going on right now. We're halfway to our goal to raise funds. The funds are going to pay for the venue costs for the Chance Cube Open, which is an event we are running the night before Worlds starts. That's May 1st. So if you're in town a little early, you want to start grinding on Wednesday for those points for the prize wall, and you're there, happen to be there on the Tuesday. We'll be there Tuesday night to run a rather casual Swiss-style event. We'll have some prizes out there. The funds will also help fund some coverage up at Worlds. So we're looking to get a couple pieces of equipment to do some live streaming, knowing that we won't have access to power in the venue. We've got to bring it with us. So power and internet. So that's what the funds is no use for. It's not funding my plane ticket. I've already bought it. It's not funding Kim's plane ticket because Kim hasn't even told me she's going yet or not.
Kim hasn't bought it. Kim doesn't know. Kim started a new job. So there's some hoops to jump, But
there will be several members of the Chansky family there playing in the world. So we're looking forward to it. But if you have the means, head over to Kickstarter, and we'll drop a link here in the chat soon as well. But more information to come, and it'll be shared everywhere, I'm sure, by Mr. Matthew Scott. Thank you, Matthew. And now we're staring at each other. Okay, let's move on.
I didn't know. Wait, there was a segue that didn't include either one of us, so I didn't know where it was going.
Let's go ahead and talk about
what was happening.
Let's talk about a card then.
Hello, what have we here?
We're talking about a card, but I can't hear you, Michael.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
He wasn't talking. It was a fake. Fake.
No. I muted it because my kids were outside of my door over here yelling for me, so I muted it real quick.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, so we're
cute. It's okay.
No, not lately. All right, today we're talking about a blue neutral card. Is upgrade. It's resilient. After an opponent's card effects remove one of your attached character's character die, you may exhaust this upgrade to roll that die into your pool. Awesome card.
Yeah. So this is a great upgrade. We've seen it almost exclusively played with Palpatine, because that is a character who relies on very few dice to do all the work, and this upgrade allows to combat that removal. Because really, when you roll in a Palp die, you have a 5 and 6 chance of rolling into 2 damage. Like you're going to do some damage to the Palp die, and the one thing that can really hurt Palpatine deck is the control. And having a copy or multiple copies of Resilient on Palpatine can prevent those removal cards from really affecting. I'm a little surprised, and I think it's because it's the 2 resource costs that we haven't seen this card on anywhere else. It's a neutral, and it doesn't have a spot requirement. Yeah. So any deck that's got blue in it could use this card, but I don't know. I guess it all depends on where control is going these days.
I kind of agree with, I've seen the chat mention it too. I think some of it is, the text is kind of confusing. I mean, you have to read it a couple times to digest exactly what it is that this card's going to do. And I think that might make it an easy pass-by when you're building a deck. Because I don't disagree that it's a good control card, but at the same time, the text on it is rather confusing. So why don't one of you two slightly more seasoned fellows who have I haven't played this card in a deck. I don't know, just walk it out a little bit and explain it a little clearer.
Well, I think the very clear use of this card is resilience and upgrade, so it's attached to the character, obviously. And let's say the die are rolled into the character, and then your opponent removes the die, whether it's easy pickings or he doesn't like you or any sort of removal type card. A card's effect makes that die goes from the pool to the character. You can tap this card and roll that die back into the pool immediately, and that doesn't count as your turn. That is a reaction to the control. So that's what's nice about this. You roll the die back into your turn, into your pool, and you still get your turn afterwards.
Nice.
And
so that. Go ahead, Mike.
And when you play it on a character that has really heavy die sides, you got to think for 2 costs, you're getting to re-roll that die back into your pool, which is pretty important, especially on like Palpatine. It's almost like having a fast hands on one of your die because you get to roll it back in, and then instantly resolve it on your turn if you wanted to.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, and I could see there's definitely ways to use this very effectively. We've seen it recently show up in the top 8 Palpatine deck that went to Canadian Nationals, which is coined Naked Palpatine, because the deck plays only 4 upgrades, 2 of them being Resilient and 2 of them being Force Illusion. And the whole deck is centered around controlling Palpatine's die to resolve for 2/3 range damage die, which gives you 10 damage in a single turn with just 2 die. And this is the card that helps that happen because it can combat the control and still gives you a turn. In a way, it's kind of action cheating, even though in my understanding of After Effects it's not considered an action of itself. It is a reaction. So it's interesting. You don't see a lot of After Effects that that bounce off of what your opponent has done.
Yeah,
this is one of those few cards that does. Yeah, so very interesting that this mechanic has made its way in to Legacies, and I think we've talked before. We're going to see more interrupty type cards. It's going to be hard in this kind of game to even have that, but more reactions off to your opponent's things. That's actually an interesting angle that we haven't seen yet. So.
And
I like it.
And the art is really cool.
Oh yeah.
Always got to mention the art.
Just because it's got Vader on there, man. That's Vader being awesome.
Yeah, Vader being awesome.
I would say it's pretty awesome, Vader.
And you got that lightsaber glow. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
I like it.
Let's give some away.
Sure, let's do it.
Look, I ain't in this for your revolution, and I'm not in it for you, Princess. I expect to be well paid. I'm in it for the money.
Take it away, Kim.
Hang on, I'm fixing my internet connection so that maybe when I talk, you'll see my face. No, it's still not working. I apologize, you guys.
It's alright, it'll catch up.
The storm's here! The storm's here! So who knows what could happen in the next couple of minutes.
Wait, wait.
What?
They're talking about poutine in the chat.
I
just want to say poutine is amazing. For all you Canadians.
The food?
Yes, poutine.
Oh
yes.
yeah, it is pretty good. There we go. Now we're a little more in sync.
There you go.
Sorry,
now,
guys.
yeah, it's back up now. Now we can
delayed and talked about poutine. So
yeah, that's it. I was letting the show catch back up. Oh, and yes, we'll try and do some mailbag questions with Joe.
I mean an actual literal thunderstorm outside my window. That's what I mean. For those of you wondering what on earth I'm talking about. Not like anyway. Okay, so last week we asked you guys if you could thank FFG for one thing from Star Wars Destiny, what would it be and why? There were a ton of great answers. Although I'm trying to remember who it was. There was one thank you for Jar Jar. I'm not sure that I totally agree with that. There was a thank you for Mill. I don't know that I agree with that one either. But a lot of great answers on there. So, I'd like to take some of that feedback when we worlds and even share it with him if we get a chance to chat with some of those folks. So, let's see. And we're giving away one of those really cool playmats from Inked Gaming this week, right?
That's correct.
All right.
Who's that?
So, Matt Hayes is our winner for this week. And Matt said would thank FFG for the community that's been built locally and making the game accessible for new players, especially with the addition of rivals. And I would totally agree with him. I saw a couple of different things of the community and being able to meet new people and new friends and bringing, there was somebody else that mentioned a hobby that both she and her husband could play together. Like, so that was a lot of really cool feedback. But congrats to Matt Hayes. So send us a message over on our Facebook page with your address.
I will say, Matt, that answer was a little short.
Hey,
I need to see some longer answers out of everybody.
There was a couple long ones in there. There's a couple epic ones. Not quite that one when we had like the poems and stuff happening. So they've settled down a smidge.
Very cool. Well, congratulations, Mr. Matt Hayes. Shoot us a message via our Facebook page, and we will get that playmat out to you as quickly as possible. For everyone else, it's another week and another question. Head over to our Facebook page and pinned at the top, you will see the following question. With Worlds now a month away, what's your prediction for the winning deck? I think Kim picked this question because it can't generate a long answer.
Oh, yes, it can. Don't underestimate the people on Facebook. Like, I've seen what they add in there. Matthew Scott wants to know if the answer should be an iambic pentameter, and I want to say yes. That would be amazing.
I like VR PorgChamp better.
Wow. Anyway, so the winner this week, I know it's not terribly exciting, but you know what? You can get a play set of the promos of Isolation from the Q4 tournament kit.
Nice.
There you go.
I don't know that I have those yet. Oh, yes, I do.
Those.
Isolation.
All right.
Well, I'll send y'all a couple because I like you guys.
I'm going to say for my prediction for winning deck, I hope that it's something Mother Talzin. Because I like all...
that would be cool.
I like all her cool stuff and her crystal ball. I think it's so fun to play.
That's a good answer because you like her cool stuff.
She's cool.
I think that's
She's
fair.
a little tricky, and she plays different than everything else that's ever played in this game. And I like it. Maybe her and Kylo together, just whooping some booty. I like it. So
there's still some decks that I'm surprised that we don't see. I mean, we talk about a lot of these of like what's going to win, and I almost think another good question is like, what are you surprised isn't at the top? And maybe that's a question we ask after Worlds. Is what are you surprised that you didn't see? I mean, I'm still surprised that I don't see Darth Maul and things like, or Tarkin or any, like, I'm really surprised by some of those big characters that we're not seeing.
Mm-hmm.
It's vicious in the chat tonight. I'm sorry, you guys.
It's awesome.
Like, we don't feed him enough, apparently.
I hope we see some Palpatine there at Worlds. I really hope so.
I bet he's there. Jason does. I think Jason's developing a bromance with Palpatine that we might need to have an intervention at some point.
I went a whole season playing Palp, and he did give me my store champ, but it was tough. It was rough playing him back in the day. I'll say that much.
Yeah, he got me my best I got was top 4 in a store champ, but he was there with me, so I think he's got to go with me to Worlds this year. We'll
That'd
see.
be awesome.
Yeah.
But you know what I always say, speak softly and drive a big tank.
Well, everyone, we are back. As you can see, our very special guest, as I keep buttering him up, is here. Joe, also known to many of you out there as Honestly Sarcastic from the Hyperloops, is here to talk a little bit about what Joe does talking about best, which is Star Wars Destiny and being awesome at it. Welcome, Joe.
Oh, man, I'm bigger on the screen.
Than in real life, or what?
Oh, my God. No, I'm watching my eyebrows. I'm watching the eyebrows.
It's hard not to, man. I'm telling you.
I know. They're so good looking. I don't know. What do we want me to say? I got neat questions, got answers. I'll talk for days otherwise.
Oh, you're fine. We've got questions, but we're glad. Thank you for joining us. And I will just kick it off, and I'm sure the conversation will go from here. But without giving up anything that you should or can give up, we're as we're ramping up to Worlds this year. What do these 4 weeks look like? Ahsoka?
Yes.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Throw everybody off, Joe. Tell them something weird.
Give me money, I'll play Ahsoka. That's how it works. I was like, I was gonna do a GoFundMe. I was like, I should do a GoFundMe for, like, if I raise $1,000, I'll play Ahsoka. If I don't day 2, everyone gets a refund.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's a good gamble right there.
I would take it. I would go and I'd do it.
Well, and you weren't at Worlds last year, right?
No. I was streaming when the tickets went on sale. Like, I had an alarm, and I was like, oh, let me stop streaming. And someone was like, one more game, and I'm like, okay, I got time. And then, like, 4 games later, I was like, oh, yeah, I was supposed to go buy tickets, huh? Damn.
Oh, man. That's hilarious. So what are you doing to prep? Like, what's your plans? How's this, now that we've been through a quite diverse meta, lots of the top decks changing as regionals have gone through. Like, how are these 4 weeks treating us now that we don't have these big events to kind of benchmark against?
I'm okay with that. My current speculation is on this Holocron update and seeing if we kind of all just get wrecked. So, like, that's pretty much the intent here. We're like, oh, I got all these Bro TK reps, and, we got Boba 7th, and Ray Ayla, but then, like, all of a sudden, like, Ayla gets, like, a +1, RI gets banned, Maul Saber costs, like, 4 or something, and we're like, well, what just happened? What do we do? So I'm kind of just playing around with everything right now, trying to get a better, firmer understanding of the different stuff and, like, minor adjustments, so that if this if a new RRG drops, and it is kind of crazy ridiculous like how we got on that last one, then I'll be a bit more prepared or be able to, like, audible a little bit better. So, like, at that point, Ayla gets hit, Ray gets hit, I don't know, Ancient Lightsaber gets poked in the face or something. We got that Ahsoka Yoda deck ready to go, baby. Ready to go.
I love it. I mean, do we really think it's going to be that significant? I mean, I know that's the chatter out there, but that seems dramatic for considering that nothing's really been dominating the scene.
Well, it's like hope for the best, prepare for the worst, right?
Well, okay. So Ankar wasn't dominating anything, and
exactly.
He got +2.
That's true.
Poe was, like, near dead in the water when Kylo FN was, like, big. Like, he was a little bit fluctuating, and he got +2. And Phasma I don't think, won anything at that point, and she got +1. And then It's a Trap got punched in the face. Like, Heat of Battle had never even got a chance yet, and it was just, like, yeah, we're just gonna make this the worst card ever. So, like, who knows what's gonna happen? Gotta prepare for nothing.
It's true.
You mentioned Maul Saber in there. Do you really think that's gonna get something? I mean, it's pretty cheap and everybody's playing it right now. So,
well, seeing as Jason was there to stream about 8 games of the New Jersey, was it Maryland regional or New Jersey regional? I forget which one it was. But, yeah, it's New Jersey. Like, anyone who watched that was like, oh my god, why is that allowed?
Yeah.
And, yeah, so like, it's on recorded video where I just sat there, and then we had the stupid thing versus Sabine Ezra where it was like, oh, Sabine smashed me for 9, and then she died. So, like... it's a bit of a ridiculous card. A lot of the meta right now is heavily adjusted for it. So, like, you either can't cast it efficiently round 1, or you don't get to do the crazy cool untaps. But Boba 7th is pretty cool about it. Like, they go do whatever. If they jam it down 1 off of, like, a well-connected, the guys could die. Ray Ayla's, like, cool. It gets a bunch of shields. All the Yoda decks get shields. So, like, there's ways to maneuver around it. But in general, it's a real strong card. So if a bunch of stuff's going to get hit, I could see where they take it out too, just so that it doesn't run rampant after on its own.
Right. That would be interesting to see, man. That card is so fresh. I mean, it's been doing work, but it's still been one of the newest sabers we have to play with, and it's already going to get nerfed to watch.
Sure. Well,
I guess it's like Phasma, right?
A whole bunch of stuff gets hit randomly. Like, they could hit Heirloom. Heirloom's too good.
Heirloom is really good. I play that card a bunch. I really like it.
I don't know. You never know what they're going to hit. Just got to be prepared, get a bunch of reps, and be prepared for that crazy audible. But what about you guys? What are you guys doing?
Well, I am getting ready for Kubla Khan. I don't have Worlds coming up, but I do have the Galactic Qualifier. And I'm just trying to, like you said, get reps in with all kinds of decks, look at all different card types. And my new thing is trying to play heroes. I never played heroes. I was always a villain player. So I'm trying to play more hero now to get used to that side of the field and really get in the mind of a hero player. But That's basically my strategy right now.
Yeah, right. You want to play easy pickings. It's okay. We already know.
That card. Oh, that card.
It's too good. It's too good.
It is. It's really good.
We got PAX East coming up this weekend, actually. So, like, I'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday of this week. So, got prepping and some crazy stuff. But I've got, like, 5 games of Trilogy under my belt. So, yeah, we're just going to... I think we might have to net deck something and move on with life.
And I was going to ask you about Trilogy, but that answers that question.
Well, so, like, I have one deck. I have one deck in Trilogy, and anyone who's seen it just knows I'm a pain in the ass. So it's Elite Yoda, Elite Rose, and a Jawa. And contrary to popular belief, Jawa has an ability. And what it does is it eats my weapon, my 2-drop support, way later in the game when it's done its stuff, and then it pays for the 6 for the Resistance Bomber. Or the 2 resource for the 6 on the Resistance Bomber.
Ah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, because no one ever attacks Jawa.
No, you don't need to until you have a couple points left to show in his face.
But yeah, it's like the crazy vehicle deck that does nothing except lock people out and then kill them with 6s.
So you have obviously a ton of games under your belt. What advice do you have to someone who's going to Worlds for the first time or playing in an extremely competitive situation for the first time?
Determine what your goal is. So if your goal is to win, you're probably going to have to take a deck that has some crazy things going for it, but might have some issues in Swiss. If your goal is just a top cut, then you can actually take a deck that's more linear and set up to pretty much crush Swiss, but then in top cut, because like you can have the specific decks where you just lose to. So like let's say your vehicles can beat everything, but can't beat mill. So then you could be like, all right, well I'll take this because I think if I get the top cut, then I can win. Because I can beat so many things, but there's going to be some people who will have answers for vehicles or just that completely crush it. But then in Swiss, if you play against mill, you're screwed. Or something like Bro-TK. Bro-TK will probably like pub stomp the crap out of Swiss. But once you get into top cut, you're going to run into probably some sort of deck that has a bunch of hand control. So that match is going to be real hard. So a Philp and a CQA later, you haven't been able to combo off, and now Seven Sisters dead, and time to go to game 2. Right. So like I'd say pick something easier. Prepare yourself for aggressive decks, because that's what tends to be like the main thing running around in Swiss. But top cut is where you start to see the people who have some more control elements, because they were able to fight through the stronger players, tend to not just go full on aggro. So we'll kind of see what goes from there. But I would say probably like 12 players out of the top 16 should be people you'll probably know, and there's going to be 4 people that come in that'll either be newer, like players that like not newer, like more unknown. Would be one deck that's never been really seen before.
So if the meta was where it's at right now and Worlds was tomorrow, what would you suggest be the deck to play for someone who hasn't had a ton of reps in with everything and they wanted something that was a little bit autopilot?
Well, if you can't take Ahsoka, I think we got to go with like Boba 7.
Boba 7? All right, that's a great
Probably
deck.
Boba 7.
Oh yeah.
It's just because so like from the get go, you're starting with the 5 dice setup. You've got a little bit of control elements with like the disrupt, and for the most part, Boba sides are just real strong. So even if you pitch 2-3 cards to re-rolling around, you cast 1 weapon and 1 piece of removal, you're well situated to probably do 6 to 8 damage. So like you can't really go wrong there. Someone that's newer could probably try to autopilot if they can just figure out who to go after and just throw their entire hand into stuff. Don't bother trying to outplay things. Just reroll, resolve, and try to get the kill.
All right. Good advice. Good advice. Let's see. Do we have any questions from the chat yet?
No, they don't care. So as we look at Worlds itself, so the way it's structured, we're looking at one day at 6 rounds. You got to win 4 games to make it to day 2. Day 2, you got 3 rounds, but your record carries over, and then you've got the top 16 are playing in the end. That's 2 days full of Destiny, same deck. How important do you think it is? I mean, obviously, getting as many wins that first day is important. But if you get only 4 wins, do you think you got a chance for the top cut in that second day?
I think if you go 4-2, you're most likely completely screwed. It's not guaranteed because mathematically you can get out of there. So with each opponent you beat, if they win every other match from day 2, they'll all be 6-3. But so like your best record against those opponents is going to be 6-3. It's not going to be amazing, but it could be much worse because you could go in as the undefeated and then beat that first person. They lose the 3 rounds. Get like paired down. That person loses to you again, loses the last round, and then the last person, worst case, is like 7-2. So that's still 7-2, 6-3, 6-3. So that isn't an amazing tiebreaker. But actually, you'd have to probably lose those 2 games. So I don't know why I even try to think like that. So yeah, that didn't go too well. But the 6-3 thing was something I already thought about prior, so I know that one's on point.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, so I would say you're pretty much looking to go 5-1 if you want solid odds, because X1 gets in automatically. There should probably be about half of the X2s that get in, so there's going to be a bunch of people that get shafted. I was really hoping Organized Play kind of changes their mind last minute and goes to like top 32. It's an extra hour and a half for the rounds, which probably screws with people's flights, but that would probably be the best for actually trying to figure out who is actually the best.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Yeah, top 16 when you have, I don't know how many players you're looking at, but we can estimate up over 300 if they're doing 3 days of Swiss.
Mm-hmm.
Because last year was a little over 100 per day. That's just an incredible number of players to rely on best of one just to get the top 16.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they had top 32 of day 1A and 1B last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the top 16, I think, had 1 person that was XN3. But since we're looking at 3 days of day 1 now, that's just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the SOS is going to matter quite a bit going into day 2, and that's going to be kind of brutal. And I don't mean like the SOS for the reset. And I apparently spilled sauce all over my stuff.
We had a question.
See, Joe fits right in, man.
We had a question in the chat. He was, our Kick TC was wondering, do you have any guesses to why they changed the formatting from 8 rounds day 1?
I don't think the format's any different.
That wasn't a change. That was the same format from Worlds. I think they just meant from like Nationals or yeah, pretty much Nationals, because NA Champs was actually NA Champs was also 8 rounds. And I think this is actually going forward. Looks like what they're trying to aim, because if you look at the Nova setup, it's the same thing. They're gonna have a day 1 flight and or 2 day 1 flights, and then the day 2 at Nova. As I clean up sauce.
Yeah, we see you're a little preoccupied with the sauce over there.
That's all good.
It got all over my hand, man. It got all over my hand. It's sticky.
Not the keyboard.
Now you have jam hands.
So I know Mike brought this up a minute ago. We can change our focus here as we talk a little bit about Galactic Qualifiers. What's your personal thoughts on the format? Because I know there's been a lot of scuttlebutt out there about pros and cons versus this double elimination format they do.
Oh, I love double elimination. In general, I've always felt if you lose 2 rounds, like, you don't deserve jack shit. And like,
fair enough.
That's just kind of how it's been. Like, when you lose 2 rounds, like, you don't deserve top 8. You kind of luck into it at that point and pray.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go X1 or go undefeated, get your top 8, okay, move on. In the Galactic Qualifier, since I'd say the big ones on average they were supposed to be set up as 64 players, so they're supposed to be 160. Later, they kind of just like opened it up to like 128, so 2 XOs. And like, that's perfectly fine. We're talking about world seats, and they pay for the world seat, in case you guys didn't know. So you're essentially getting $80 on top of all those prize cards or prize tickets to then buy all the spot gloss and play the market, I guess, at that point. But for the most part, like, double elim's fine there. If they changed it, can you imagine like the decrease in tickets going out if they didn't want to, kind of flood the market with spot gloss? So like, that's the dilemma. If we think of it like, all right, this is Swiss now, but they reduced all the numbers, like, the top end would suck.
Yeah, that would be tough if you lost your first round and you were out for the day and you had wanted to get a spot gloss. You wouldn't have anything. You'd be having to do flights all day to try and get in.
Well, I'm not saying single. I was saying if it was Swiss, where you played all 6 no matter what.
Oh, then they would definitely flood the market.
Yeah, everything would just be flooded out. And stuff wouldn't be worth it as much anymore. It's, I don't know. I'm on the top, so it's really hard to gauge because I'm biased. Like I went 5-1 or in 2 out of the 3 of the GQs I played at. The other one I lost once to Pro Yeti, and then 5-1 the rest of it. So like I don't have real concerns there. I could understand from a casual perspective, but people also play the pods, and the pods are terrible. Like if you get 0-1 wins, you get 1 ticket, but tickets are selling at $10 each, which is the same as if you go like 0-2 and the GQ. So I don't know, $120 for a spot gloss isn't real bad value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough, especially on that casual side. People want those spot glosses, but they are not competitive, and they will go 0-2 in the beginning of their day and not get anything.
Well, that's why I'm there to sell it to them after.
The secondary market is.
We appreciate that.
That's a whole nother conversation. To each his own. To each his own.
I'm a mercenary. I collected 8 of them so far. I've kept 0.
I get it, man. If it's not your thing or you're not collecting them, then I would definitely be selling them too. Wah, wah.
I don't get to keep FN.
That's so fun. Oh man, it works. That's cool. Well, before we let you go, do you have any final words of advice as we look forward to Worlds or what people think they can do up there?
Probably stay away from Tiny Grimes' thing if you're trying to learn what RI does. Read the rule book. Read the RRG.
That's very important. Yep.
Oh yeah, because you'll go in there unprepared if you don't. I think.
Learn what cards do. Buy sleeves, and have really, really clean mannerisms. I guess is how I'd say it. Don't draw a 6th card. Make sure you're playing for your resources and like doing your damage calculations and dice maneuvering properly. Because the last thing you want to do is have judge called and get a game loss for something silly. It's Worlds. Yeah, spot. Like, take the extra couple seconds to play your cards. You don't want to play that filp with your Ma's dead and then cry inside.
All right. Oh, real quick, what is your sleeve of choice?
Okay. So I only play with KMCs, but oddly my sleeve of choice is player's choice. I just haven't found them in a long, long time.
And then your color of choice?
Whatever the cheapest color was. So usually it's like brown, dark matte brown.
That's awesome, man. All right.
Hey, you make all that money on those spot glosses. You can't buy any color you want. You got to buy the cheap ones.
Yeah, no. So like the quality's gonna be good, but it's whatever's the cheapest one. Like I was buying the other day, and it was like, all right, I had the credit from like whatever event I was playing, and I went and I brought black ones up to the counter, and they're like $15, and I was like, I thought it said 12. Like, no, those are brown ones. I'm like, I'll be right back. So I searched it out. Like, no, I'm not playing with brown ones now. Like, none of that.
Right. Brown it is.
Excellent. Well, Joe, thanks for joining us today. Of course, before you head out, if you want to give everyone a little plug for where they all know you and love you from.
Yep, HonestlySarcastic with the Hyperloops. You can see us at thehyperloops.com or on YouTube at youtube.com/thehyperloops, where I have a bunch of vlogs where you see this face, but a car in the background. And then like moving trees and stuff in greater Boston area. Nice. Maybe some snow.
The Jedi! What do you know?
Well, we are back as we do always in this show with a little Star Wars discussion, and Kim always is ready with something cool.
I keep finding stuff I want to buy. That's the problem. So first it was the Chewbacca interactive thing that I still need to own. So now, if you guys are Lego fans at all, they're releasing hang on. I gotta make sure I get it right. Okay, they're releasing a Y-Wing on May 4th.
Ooh.
It's pretty slick looking. Slightly more affordable than some of the other Star Wars vehicles. So this one's coming out at like $199.
Yeah, looks good.
It's slick looking. I've got a buddy that's big into Lego, so I have a feeling that he'll get it, so I can maybe live vicariously through him.
There you go.
Because I don't know where I'd put it. Like, that's the problem. Because I really want a Falcon too, but it's hard to justify the cost for a Lego piece that I have to find to put somewhere and not get knocked over. Yep. I can't even keep a can of pop on my desk half the time. How am I going to keep a Lego? So if you guys were into that sort of thing, I totally dig it. The other one that I didn't put up here, I don't know the store name. Pogo, maybe? I don't think that's right. Or Poko. It's a UK store. Has some Han Solo shoes that look like Converse, like high top Converse.
Nice.
So they're like dark blue and have red stripes down the side.
Pretty slick.
Yeah, I couldn't find them for tonight, so maybe I'll have this for next.
There you go.
Right.
So
what about
more
you, Jason?
things Kim wants to buy.
I don't know. I was gonna throw it to you, but you've been moving, so.
I have nothing. I'm a horrible Star Wars fan. I haven't.
You guys didn't threaten to take my card tonight. So I'm doing all right.
I did open some Destiny packs the other day. I got antsy and went and grabbed 7 from the store, and I pulled another Maul Saber and a bow, the Callus bow rifle.
I have neither of those.
Yeah, and
neither.
Yeah, that was it. I think.
Oh,
and a rose. I got a rose too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Outside of Destiny, I'm in the middle of 2 Star Wars books, one on tape and one real book, and that's what I'm trying to do because I just pre-ordered all the stuff for the solo film books. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, nice! I forgot to tell you guys I started Dark Disciple.
Hey, look at you! Nice.
I forgot to tell you that. Sorry, like when you said the books, I'm like, oh my god, I forgot that I'm actually finding one of the books.
Oh no, it's good. Good for you. That's a good one.
Yeah, Dark
that's
Disciple.
well, Dan Z had recommended it, and so it's been on my list, and I just needed to get it something else that I could read it on electronically because that's how we have it.
Yep.
My current one had bit the dust, so now I'm back in business.
All right. Well, you mentioned our friend Dan Z a bunch. I might as well say I'm recording with them tomorrow, and I'll be on the next episode.
Excellent.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we finally are going to be able to get together. Schedules worked out, so yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Jealous. I'm a little jealous.
Should be fun. Yeah, I just pre-ordered all the solo stuff because I know the Last Shot, which is the book that's going to cover before and after the solo film for Han and Lando, and I believe this is the book that's going to talk a little bit about the origins of the Sana Starros storyline from the comics.
Nice.
When he actually got married, but not really married.
Fake married.
Sana. Fake married.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be
I feel like he would be the one that fake married. Like there wasn't a real. I feel like that would be classic Han.
Yeah, well,
it is.
It is classic Han.
All right.
Anyways, so thanks everyone out there for watching and actually for sticking around. So we really appreciate for those who have seen the show live. If you're listening to the show after the fact, we definitely appreciate that as well. And keep tuning in every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Chance Cube Live. Next week, we will be having guests from Geeks First to talk about their gaming accessories and Destiny products, which should be super fun. And we'll continue to ramp up to Worlds as we look over the next 4 weeks, and more information coming about that soon. So again, thanks everyone for watching. If you want to join the Chance Cube Hangout or contribute to our Patreon, just head over to patreon.com/ChanceCube. And Mike Hill, take us out.
All right, y'all. Have a good night. Deuces, as the chat would say.
This has been The Chance Cube, a Star Wars Destiny podcast, a non-profit organization dedicated to building community through gaming. Visit our website for all things Star Wars Destiny, including our price watch, meta tracker, and latest articles from the Chance Cube family. Find our latest videos on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit us at patreon.com/thechancecube. Your patronage allows us to grow this program and help us give back to the gaming community by sponsoring events, giveaways, and supporting our own community building initiatives. This is Mike Hill, the voice of the Chance Cube. Thanks for listening. The Chance Cube is not affiliated with Fantasy Flight Games, Lucasfilms, or the Walt Disney Company.